Let's go back to our top story now, the assassination attempt on former U.S. President Donald Trump. Joining me now is Ken Gray, a former FBI agent and senior lecturer at the University of New Haven. And thank you very much, Ken, for joining us.
Hi, Roger. Glad to be with you.
Your reaction and a breakdown a bit of what you've seen on how Secret Service, FBI, everybody handled it so far.
Secret Service is responsible for the protection of the president, and they managed to get their bodies on him and protect him to the vehicle and then got him out of the venue. So from that aspect, they did a good job, a competent job of getting him out of the area. However, nonetheless, the counter sniper team may have had eyes on the shooter and did not react to that. So that's something that will have to be looked at as this investigation goes on. FBI is lead federal agency for investigations of these types of matters. They are working with the Pennsylvania State Police to do their investigation. The shooter has been identified as Thomas Matthews Crooks, a 20-year-old that lives in Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. The FBI and other law enforcement agencies are out at his residence today doing a search of that residence. They're going to be focusing in on looking for evidence that he was planning to do this shooting. They'll especially be looking at social media, at his computer, and try to figure out if he made any type of posting of a threat before this occurred.
Let's go back to the original events and the Secret Service sniper on the roof. And there seemed to be some hesitation. What's going through their mind as they think they're spotting the shooter? What are they processing?
So when they are looking at this person that is crawling across the top of the building, they have to first identify him and identify him as a threat and not potentially other law enforcement. You don't want to have a blue on blue type situation. But once they have identified him, they may have been trying to direct ground agents or ground officers to the area instead of shooting him straight out. But nonetheless, that's the counter sniper's job, is to identify a threat and to neutralize the threat.
And does it feel like that was handled fairly quickly?
So after the shooting occurred, the counter sniper took out the shooter. However, it's possible that he could have been taken out before he shot. That is something that an investigation will have to determine, whether or not the counter sniper was acting within the rules of engagement for the counter snipers.
Now, what will happen with this investigation? What will they be looking at? How will they break it down? Will we see more Secret Service around Trump and maybe bulletproof shields around him when he's speaking?
This was an open air venue, and open air venues are harder to protect because of the possibility of a shooter being outside the protected area. I think that you'll probably see less open air type venues until the election here. Secret Service will be doing a review of this particular event, looking at what went right and what went wrong, and make corrections to that. We've got the RNC, the Republican National Conference, starting on Monday, tomorrow. And so you will see an increased security presence there, but that is not an open air event. That's inside a conference center, and consequently, security will be easier to provide at this event.
And I guess one of the questions, I think, going back to this is, how did they manage to get up onto that roof, which had a fairly clear shot of President Trump?
Yeah, that's a good question, and investigation will have to determine that. But one would think that in the doing the site survey before this event, that would have been identified as a potential problem area, and people should have been posted on there, in my opinion. So it's a question of manpower, I think, that this only 450 feet away, 150 yards, that was a prime location for a shooter to be up on. The shooter was not on there initially. He crawled across the roof and got into position.
Okay, Ken, thank you very much for your expertise. We appreciate it.
Certainly, anytime.